We all have Watchmen thoughts.
Yeah.
Cody, Alex, are you guys watching the show?
Oh my God! Last night's episode was incredible,
Okay.
right, Alex? So this has got to be their Emmy submission episode for like directing or writing, right? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Should be.
And, I mean,
Do you think Cody saw it?
I swear to God.
Yes,
I
no, he did. No,
we talked about it on the show before, Rox.
There's just something.
You
No,
just
I
use the
know that
same tone.
I know that you were watching, but you've got this sarcastic tone
Yeah.
for all the things.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Sassy Cody is fun Cody.
You want to know what?
he's my favorite.
I thought that
Cody.
this episode, I think the whole show is great. I love this show. I thought this episode was as good as some of the other episodes.
Oh, man.
It wasn't a
Dude.
standout for me. I still like 2 and 5.
But the direction, though, yesterday I felt like the cinematography, like the fact that, and minor spoilers here, but the whole point is that Angela takes the nostalgia pills, right? So whenever they were going into those sort of dream sequences and going to Will Reeves' mind, it felt like kind of like Birdman,
Yeah.
right? Where you have these like long single takes of the camera, and then on top of that you have like the transitions of a character opening a door and turning into another character. Like it was just, I have not seen something like that on television that looked that beautiful. And on top of that, with the jazz score, and then obviously the story itself. Like it was, I have zero things to nitpick about last night's episode. I hadn't seen something like that on TV.
Yeah.
I was very, very much blown away.
Yeah, that's what I tweeted out. I've never seen anything that walked into the racial discussion so proudly, put it all on the table.
Yep.
Even that Cyclops thing reminds you what's going on now with that little sign that the white supremacists are doing in our society. There was full guts. It put it all out there and goes, screw you, we're not going to make it safe for you. We're not going to give you a kumbaya movement. We're not going to make
You're
it easy
saying
for
you, like the audience?
The audience,
Yep.
yes. And also the fact that, look, what you were talking about, what you referenced, Dorina, that the subtlety of that point is that we are the summation of the people that came before us, that our ancestors built us, our ancestors created us, and we go back in time to grab strength or to learn lessons from what our ancestors have gone through. She basically got that through the nostalgia pills. And then you see what he goes through as a black man, but not just a black man, a gay black man in this world, and what he has to endure and come across and go against. All of that just built. And as if that isn't enough, at the end, the flickering thing with him speaking, essentially it undercuts film and television, saying that film and television are one of the reasons why people turn against each other or people are inspired to go against other people. Like, it's fascinating.
Did you watch Leftovers?
Yes.
And so this episode reminded me of a lot of Leftovers.
Okay.
That's what I
fair.
heard from people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that show. Just to me, because Dee, when we were texting this morning, you
Yeah.
were like, "This was the most groundbreaking episode."
Well, one of the most in television.
And to me, I thought it was really, really
Right.
good. Again, there was not a lot to nitpick. I like this, not like the story, but I appreciate the story. I think that Regina King still, to me, is like the standout in the show.
Yeah.
She's just so phenomenal.
She's acting with her fucking eyeballs in last night's episode.
Yeah.
Like, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they touched upon it. I just maybe wasn't surprised because that's exactly
Right.
what this show has told us they were going to do, and they're just doing what they've set up for us.
I could see what you're saying.
Nothing was like, I did not think they'd go there.
Right.
I was like, yeah, that's exactly what Watchmen does, so they're doing what Watchmen does.
I guess it's because maybe the fact that it's based on a sort of superhero comic book. I think the first time that I was very happily surprised by a superhero story on television dealing with trauma was Jessica Jones, right? And so so I feel like it's not only have the people behind Watchmen done an amazing job of being true to the source material as to what the actual source material represents, but then aligning that within a completely alternate universe, and then touching on these themes that Roka's talking about with institutional racism, right? Like where the fact that white supremacists have infiltrated government and authority and all
And police.
exactly, and so that I feel like a lot of shows have touched upon that, but not superhero shows. And on top of that, just to me, like I'm a visual person, so like the way it was shot was beautiful.
It was.
I mean, all of those scenes, I was just like, how did they do this? Like, I would love to see it behind the scenes. It was fucking incredible.
What did you think, Mark?
Everything you guys are saying, I'm with you 100%. This is one of the best episodes of television I think I've ever seen.
So it's definitely your favorite of the series.
Favorite
so
of the
far.
season,
yeah.
favorite of the series
By
so
miles.
far. It is so powerful. It is something that I just like, and you know what you were talking about, like the hypnotism. I was
Yeah.
hypnotized.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable that they were going there,
Yeah.
and I think it deserves a lot of credit for doing that. I said this about Joker. I thought the Joker movie was a message in a Trojan horse of a comic book movie, right? This is another, but this is a little bit more blatant. This is a little like, and I appreciate the fact that they went so full on into this without any pulling back, like you said, no kumbaya or anything happening. This was a powerful episode that I just adored. I want to see it again because there is so much to unpack from this.
Yeah.
I missed so much because I sat there with my jaw open most of the time.
Yeah, and I just feel like with something like Joker, but especially the show, I feel like the superhero genre, with all of the kind of popcorn films we've gotten in the last few years, has been elevated with this show, right? It's because it's to me at least, it's become a show about how we inherit trauma. And what we decide to deal with that trauma, right? Like how we're enduring, whatever we like you said, like our past messed up issues that we have from our history or not just family, and then deciding whether we're going to try to be a hero and contribute to society, but at the same time we know that most of the time we're just like enduring our own issues, right? And that's I think that's fascinating, and it was done really well.
Also, this idea in the black community, you know that the older black cop says to him, "Look out for the Cyclops," right? He says that, right? That is indicative, and I have quite a few friends I've grown up in the military and in Virginia who are black, and Jay speaks about this too. This idea of passing on the warnings to the next generation.
Jay Washington?
Jay Washington, yes, passing on this idea of like, be careful about what's coming. You know, we have now in our society black mothers and fathers teaching their kids how to speak to police because they don't want them to be shot or killed, what to wear, how to react. These kinds of things are things that are not inherent within the white community or even to a lesser degree the Latino community. It is more about that. So all of that gets highlighted here. And there is no, you have to be the bigger person.
No.
He kills everybody. He kills everybody. And you're just like, damn.
Are you guys a little bit of a segue? But are you guys watching Shameless this season?
No.
Oh, they're majorly touching upon what you just talked about, like black men of an older generation teaching a younger generation, which has been really interesting to watch on that show in a completely different way. But back to Watchmen for a second. I think that everything you guys are saying is so true. But this is a show that opened up with the 1921 Tulsa riots.
Yeah, the race
Exactly.
riots.
So they said to us, here is what our show is going to really dive into.
Maybe because we're all sorry to interrupt, Roxy, but maybe because we're all like, PTSD from like shows continuing to be like good and then shitty.
Yeah. So you're just happy that they delivered on what they promised to deliver on.
Or that other shows have copped out when they've had a chance to go all the way.
I agree with that. I agree, and I also think that like still we're painting very gray characters here, and I continue to question like where I lie with some of these things that are actually happening. Even with like who do you guys feel like you're rooting for hardest on the show right now? Is it Regina King?
Yes.
Yeah,
Still.
but
I think that's by design.
But with when I was reading Watchmen, I wasn't really rooting for anyone.
Anybody?
Oh.
That's it. I mean, were you?
Rorschach. Always.
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause I'm
I
about exposing the truth.
Well, I
actually.
loved him,
Yeah.
like just like I loved the Joker when I
Do you
was a
love
kid, but I
Snowden?
didn't.
Do you love Snowden? Okay.
Wait, the movie Snowden?
No, Edward.
You're asking me if I like it.
I got you, John. I got you, buddy. Don't have to answer that question.
Tried to go to the movie topic of it. But
Continue, D. Continue.
Oh, that was a good question. Thank you, Roxy.
I have
for
an
that.
answer, but no, go ahead.
I don't even know what I was saying. That was amazing. That was really
we were
good.
talking about
Yeah,
which
who to cheer
character
for.
you're
Oh,
backing.
yeah.
You didn't
No,
like
I like
Rorschach.
Like I liked Joker, but I wasn't like rooting for
Yeah, I was
them.
rooting for
Does
Joker.
that make sense?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I mean. Yeah.
I think you can
You don't want to
root
be
for-
that guy.
Yeah.
I was
I'm
not rooting for Joker.
Because it's a cop-out people use to bash the film.
Being fascinated by a character and
Right.
understanding and agreeing with some of their philosophy doesn't mean that you are okay with
Exactly.
them murdering people.
Correct.
That's what I mean.
Like I'm rooting for Ozymandias.
Ozymandias, yeah. You want him
I
off
am
the-
fascinated. I want to know.
You are rooting for him.
I am rooting
You're
for
rooting
him as far as
for him
as
to
far-
what?
I don't know.
Win?
Like get out of wherever he is, see what the hell he's doing, what's going on with the clones, what's going on with space, what's going on with all this stuff. I'm rooting for the finish of the story, for some answers. So not necessarily like what he does as a character. I'm rooting for the story to keep unraveling the mystery for me.
But that's still so cool because that character was fascinating to me also in the book.
Because
but
it becomes the original, because that character was so fascinating in the original Watchmen comic, to see it pick up with him later. I want to know more.
And similar to like what later became Thanos, right? Which is like he kind of acts like this god, right? Like he's the one that's making decisions as to like what he thinks is best for society. And so what they've done with Jeremy Irons' character totally makes sense. I think it's brilliant, the take they've done on Adrian.
Silk Spectre. Rooting for Silk Spectre at all?
I'm just rooting for Jean Smart. I fucking love that woman.
To be cast in everything, me too.
This is where I keep going back to just story and character. All of these threads are so fascinating that it's like, yes, of course I'm rooting for her.
Well, she's like hardcore doing her job.
She's doing her job and she's fascinating.
I'm not
you're not.
rooting for her.
Okay, I love this. So because you're like,
But I am rooting for Jean Smart in everything.
Right?
Why not?
Just to clarify again, not on the side of the Joker. I am on the side of Jean Smart. John Roca. Controversial. Yeah.
Smart,
Maybe
deep thought for you, my friend.
Snowden to be determined.
Well, no, there's an answer. Jean Smart, please come to my Christmas dinner. I would say this for me, the character, because she turned her back on the heroes. And so when she got caught, then she turned states, and now she's vigilant on the other side, right? And for me, that bothers me because for years you were fine being a part of this team. You helped Dr. Manhattan cheat on his wife. Let's not take that out of the equation.
Right.
And then did what you did. Then you got upset because.
A lot of people cheat on their spouses.
And I judge them. And so this person.
And they will be judged.
Sorry, Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Absolutely. Hell yeah. But you get the situation where, okay, what is her? She seems to be like, I am the avenging angel. It's like, well, no, you've got some stuff in your past that you can be called out for, not just the cheating, but other things that she's done. So let's explore that more. So I'm not exactly cheering for her, but I'm very intrigued by her as a character.
Cody, backing anybody?
I can't do it, Alex. I'm sorry.
What
Looking
happened?
Glass was my guy.
yeah.
He's the one
Oh,
who's
yeah,
like
Looking Glass.
clearly good. He's just
Absolutely.
fucked up and traumatized. I was gonna say Lube Man. Yeah.
Lube Man, what? Yeah.
He goes into that sinkhole with all the lube.
Where's
That's where the lube
all
lives.
the lube?
Alex, who are you rooting for?
Lube boy.
Lube boy.
Lube Man.
He went from man to boy real
Wow.
quick. That's what happens when you use too much lube.
Hello.
Is there such a thing as too
Roxy,
much
I'm
lube?
going there. I like
I don't
that.
even know what that means.
Yes,
though.
it works.
Are you serious?
I'm like,
Is there so much thing as too much lube?
yeah, I guess.
Have you ever tried too much lube?
Well, I mean, but it's just easier.
Wait, loop or lube?
It makes things easier.
Lube.
You
Okay.
just slap
Vacation.
I thought you were saying
right
Fruit
in.
Loops. Too much loops. Too much lube.
No.
No, lube. They're
Lube.
talking
Okay.
definitely
All right.
about sex
Fair
stuff.
enough.
Yes.
You really thought that?
You said P. I thought you said loop. So I was wondering where you were going with that.
Is
Where
there such a
lube,
thing
man?
as too much lube?
Yes. As a man, yes. And I'll answer that question truthfully.
Man, this review is awesome.
It's yeah.
All right, let's move on from Watchmen talk.